Hi everyone. I've had a tough day. I was planning to start the videos like an hour and a half ago, but there's elections here in Delhi this weekend, and they're electing their chief minister, and it's been quite noisy. There's like parades and people speaking very loud and like I think we'll guess um, we just have to deal with it in case it gets very noisy. Now you understand what is happening. But anyways, I think it's really good because it connects a lot with the yama of today, which is Satya, truthfulness. And actually I started these videos on that note. I really wanted to do something that is it's real, it's you and me here, we're connecting, that's real. There's not much stuff happening, there's not much editing going on. It's simply the meeting of souls, and that for me is the most pure and most beautiful truth of all. We can connect wherever we are. We are energetic beings, and it doesn't matter the distance or the names or whatever. We are here because we're interested in yoga. Yoga is the path of truth, the desire for truth. We come to yoga when we are kind of like hopeless in this world of false hopes and dreams, the world of samsara halahala, the poison of conditioning. So putting this yama in action, it actually means checking all of those conditionings that we have carried in our lives since we were very small. I remember when I was a kid, my mother or my father or whoever used to answer the phone, and sometimes they didn't want to talk on the phone, so the other one would say, "Tell them that we are not here," and the other one would go, "Yeah, she left," or whatever, and I was checking that up because I was always checking my parents. And then I grew up and I had my children. And I remember one day my son Ariel, he was tiny. He was like 3 or 4 years old, and he took the phone. There were no cell phones in those years. And someone was asking about me. And I said, "Ariel, tell them I'm not here." And so he goes, "My mama says she's not here." And that for me was such a huge wake-up call. Just saying, I am doing this yoga, I am teaching this yoga, and I'm asking my children to lie for me. And even if it's a white lie, let's say that's how we call it in Spanish, mentira blanca. But still, there's a power to our words. There's a power to that intention of being truthful in our speech, truthful in whatever we write. Now that we are writing so much in our social media, we should really check every word. Every word that goes there stays there forever. Every time I write in social media, I'm thinking my children are going to read that someday. That's how, let's say, strict I am with what I write. And I also, of course, first I pray and I just ask for pranams from my teacher, and that whatever I write can bring more light and can bring more love. Same with these videos. Everything that I am sharing here, I share from this intention. Of course, we don't own the truth. We are, like maybe capable of understanding a little filament of the whole truth. Only Krishna can understand what is going on. But if we have that intention and we ask the greater power to guide us to whatever it's meaningful for us, I think we are in the path of truthfulness. What goes against truthfulness? Of course, as we spoke before, the obstacles of the mind. Ignorance. When we speak about something or about someone without really knowing what is going on, that's ignorance speaking. That cannot be truthful. We should be responsible enough to inform ourselves, or maybe even to ask someone and say, I've heard this about you, what is going on, what is happening now with the custody case with my children. It's been very interesting, how to see how people write me from all over the world and they ask me what is happening. They are not really like understanding. And for me, it's so wonderful to be able to answer and say, yes, this and this happened, and thank you so much for writing, because sometimes it's confusing, and especially when other people are speaking about it and they don't have the full version, and it becomes like a mess. Satya, this yama, is the intention of first being true to ourselves, and for that, of course, we need to know at least have a little glimpse of who we are or what we want from this life. Usually yogis, we are looking for something real. That's why yoga is so appealing to us, because we start with the realness of our physical body. This body is here now in this present moment, and this breath is here. And yeah, the mind is there, sometimes it gets very, very active. Sometimes it calms down. And when the mind calms down, then we can really understand who is watching the body, the thoughts, the emotions. There's like a witness consciousness there. And this witness, this awareness, sits in a different realm from our personalities and from our dramas and from our pains and sufferings. It's kind of watching everything. So cultivating that witness awareness, I think, brings a lot of perspective to our human predicament. Sometimes we are so involved in the story that we forget to see that it's only a story in our mind. Yeah, maybe there's an evil person in the play, maybe there's a good one, maybe there's like all this intricacy, but actually it's only like the game of lila. Lila is this energy that is continually renewing itself, and we are also characters in the play. And this awareness that this story is going on there and everything is the awareness that a yogi wants to get connected with. This is the way to understand the broader perspective. In this huge universe, our little story is like a little ant. And once we get that perspective, then we are not so attached to our position. Then maybe we can just say, you want to be right, just be right. I'm not going to fight anymore. It's like being too reactive just takes too much of my energy. Maybe just, just manage your stuff. And this is a way of being true to ourselves. Saying no to certain people, saying no to certain situations. Instead of being there just so like involved that we cannot see clearly and we can like actually get more confused, just taking some steps back. And beyond ignorance, our attachments and our aversions also make us sometime, let's say violate Satya. Because we are so attached to something or to a position that we can we can lie, so in a way we can get what we want. So in the long run, this is not good. Let's say that there's a way, a cause and effect of everything we think and everything we do. And in yoga, we are very aware of that. And this karmic wheel will eventually put things into place. So the best advice, and this is actually the yama that is my favorite, Satya, and is to choose one of the yamas and start there. You can also choose ahimsa, you can also choose aparigraha, brahmacharya, asteya, any that you feel drawn to. Mine was always Satya. I really wanted to know what is the true nature of love, why are we here, what is happening in our mind, what is this body? Why do I feel this pull to my teacher? I always wanted to research since I was a little girl about what was truth and what was false. And Satya asks us to understand our minds very well, to always be observing ourselves, not judging ourselves, but observing ourselves. when we are not, first of all, true to ourselves. Sometimes we try to live life so we get approval from other people, so we get validation from others, and we are actually being cruel to ourselves. When you speak about being loyal, make sure first of all you're loyal to yourself, to your heart, to your soul, and to your calling, to your dharma. And from that awareness of your own personal truth, which is personal, then you can respect others people's truth. It's hard, of course, to respect those who hurt others. Here in India, they are about to hang 4 men who raped this girl in 2012, and oh my God, it's taken 8 years for them. You know, they've been in jail, and now they're like doing all these petitions, you know, of mercy to the president, and they're like delaying the process, and the family of this girl is really like in pain, you know, trying to find justice of this. It was a massacre, what happened. And yet, you know, it's so hard in this human predicament to understand that evil has a place. Actually, evil is like the ruler of this realm of material existence. And dealing with evil forces, dealing with all this darkness, requires in us a very keen consciousness, because we can get, you know, like pulled by all that darkness, and then we just start lying a little bit, you know, and then it just like grows, and then at the end we don't even know who we are. So for me it was very useful to be very let's say God is in the details, to stop saying like these little lies that we say. It's just like, okay, you are going to take an action, you're going to write a message, you're going to write a post. First, like, you know, connect to yourself. Is this necessary, what you're going to say? Is this true? And finally, is this going to hurt someone? And yeah, like, you know, in the yoga of activism, sometimes we have to speak for causes that are important. Mandela and Martin Luther King and all these great women and men. Mother Teresa, they were speaking truth that was uncomfortable, I know. And that takes a lot of courage to speak the truth in front of forces that don't want you to speak the truth. But that's a personal choice. Maybe you just need to just, you know, shut up and stop engaging with those energies. Maybe you want to create something beautiful and start a book, writing from your personal truth. Maybe you want to connect to people that can understand your perception, which it's very personal. Satya is something very personal. Of course, there's these like bigger truths, not hurting people, not gossiping, not getting entangled in energies that are low energies. For us yogis, we aim to speak. If we're going to speak about someone, let's imagine that person is with us in the room, and that everything we say about this person, he or she can hear it. That's for me what I usually do. And if not, I would rather like shut up and not say anything. So Satya is the second yama, truthfulness, being true to ourselves, being true to our hearts, being true to our deepest truths, and at the same time respecting others. You know, maybe we may not agree, but it's their side of the story, and each one of us has a little piece of the puzzle. Only Krishna has the whole puzzle put together, but humbly try to do our best to live in truth and to think in truth, write in truth, and experience the power of our words. And they say that when we live in truth, everything we say then becomes a reality. And I can say, you know, many blessings have come to my life since I started living in Satya. So I recommend you do the same. Thank you so much for your comments. Thank you so much for your questions and for being here. Namaste.